Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be clear in your intent. Well, I've got 4 emails that I'm going to go through with you today. And before we get into the first one, I've got a quote that I wrote that I'd like to share with you. Because basically what's going on is these guys aren't being clear in their intent. And because of that, they're not getting the desired behavior in the women that they're dating. So it says, when a man is not clear in his intent with women, it causes women to become unsure of him, start acting flaky, lose interest, doubt his masculine core, back away, lose attraction, and sexual polarity. Masculine energy is all about taking risks and being the leader. If a man acts like a leader who not only knows what he wants, but goes for it without fear, the women in his life will feel comfortable letting him lead the interaction to where he wants it to go. Women love men who are direct and get to the point, not men who are unsure, shy, timid, and hesitant. So let's get in the first guy's email. He says, "Hi Coach, I recently went out with a girl 3 times. The first time she took me around town in an area that I have not been before." Well, that tells me right off the bat she was being the leader and leading you around. In essence, she started out in the first date and she was being the man in the relationship instead of you planning things out, using Google Maps and planning a really cool evening of fun places to go and things to do. Instead, you're more like follow the leader. That's not masculine energy, that's feminine energy, what you're doing. He says, "We hung out, went to a bookstore, and sat in a park. Looking back, I should have went for the kiss when we were sitting on the grass, but I thought it was too soon since we first met." Again, you're hesitating. You're fearful that you're going to get rejected. You're thinking, oh, this is too soon. At the end of the day, women who like you will go out with you, hang out, have fun, and hook up. It's like when I make dates, I make a date right on the spot. Women appreciate the fact that I'm clear in my intent, because at the end of the day, Mother Nature's already taken care of the attraction. And if you like her and she likes you physically, when the signs are there, you go ahead and make a move. But when you hesitate and you dither, she starts to doubt your masculine core. She starts to think that you don't have any confidence to go for what you want. And that causes her to start to lose attraction. The sexual polarity starts to dissolve at that point. He says, "After our first outing, I began to watch your videos and wanted to be more direct. I asked her if she wanted to hang out. Looking back, you should invite her to do something. Not, hey, would you like to hang out with me sometime?" That's kind of like, gee, do you think you'd like to go out with me sometime? I mean, it's like, where's the confidence in that? He says, "Looking back, I should have been clearer than hanging out. Yeah, I'd say, hey, why don't we get together, meet up for a drink? When are you free to get together?" "Oh, I'm free Wednesday at 8. Awesome, I got this really cool wine bar I'd like to meet you at. Here's the address. How about we meet there at 8 o'clock? I'll see you then." I mean, it's as simple as that. You don't have to dither around and send 15 texts back and forth. It's just get right to the point. You like her, she likes you. Get together so the chemistry can happen, so the magic can happen in person. It doesn't happen over the phone or texting or through email. He says, "Anyways, we went around in the bookstore and grabbed something to eat and went for a walk around another park. We talked about men and women and what we each find attractive in the other opposite sex." He says, "I talked about what I noticed about her when we first met, about her body, etc." So you're telling her things that you physically like about her. That's being direct. That's good. He says, "We started to walk around and she began to bump into me. That means, hey, touching is appropriate. I'd really like it if you touch me some more right now." He says, "I honestly thought she was actually being clumsy." Oh, come on, man. He says, "Then I watched one of your videos saying women do things like this when they want to be touched." He says, "So we went to a park and sat down and talked a bit more. Then it started to rain, so I walked her to the train station. I took her down a side street and went for the kiss. It was awkward. I don't even know if I got any lips." How could you not know if you didn't kiss her sweet lips? I mean, come on, man. 4 days later, she sends me a link to some article relevant to what we talked about last time And I asked her if she wanted to go out for waffles and drinks. So here's the deal. I say it all the time. When a woman reaches out to you, it means she likes you, and you should assume that she wants to see you. And this is what they do. They're not going to come right out and ask you out, but she's making it easy for you to be direct and make a date with her. He says she couldn't do that night. That's why it's always best to say, when are you free? Instead of saying, hey, how about tomorrow night? How about tonight? He says she couldn't do that night since she lives far and wanted to be home in time. So we met at 12 p.m. Oh, sounds like a friendly lunch date. Create an opportunity for sex to happen. When you meet at 12 p.m., you're going to hang out and she's like, oh, I gotta go. He says, after watching more of your videos, I was my true self this time. Good. He says, I swore I used sexual metaphors and innuendos and didn't give a shit about what she thought. That's what she wants. She wants you to be you. Instead of you acting like a robot in a date and on her, it's too early to kiss her. I shouldn't do that. It's like being the nice guy. It's like that's why nice guys finish last. He says, I took note of all the girly stuff she did, like flutter her eyes. She even grabbed my arm playfully at one point and hit me jokingly when I made sexual comments. That's flirting. That's playful banter. That's what happens when two people are attracted to one another. And that's when you go for the kiss, is when all that good shit is happening like that. He says, we went to the museum, grabbed drinks, and walked around the park, and grabbed more drinks, then walked more. And by this time, it was 9 p.m. See, if you just started making out with her, whatever it was that she was going to do, she'd have blown that off and just wanted to hang out with you. But you weren't clear in your intent, my man. He says she was playing music on her iPod about sex and put her arm around my waist. I did the same. Good, you reciprocated slowly. Nice job. She felt obviously very comfortable with you touching you. She was trying to make it easy for you. Why? Because she liked you. He says making tons of sexual comments, saying she was sexy, etc. And she was smiling throughout, waiting for you to kiss her. But you kept dithering, obviously. He says, again, this has never happened to me before, and I was in shock, and that looking back, I should have used your line. Get it over with, and kiss me. I always say, I think you need to get it over with and kiss me right now. Just like that, with that same look on my face. One of these days, I'm going to say that to a woman, and she's going to go, I saw that in one of your videos. Is that one of your lines? I'll go, it always works. Shut up and kiss me. He says, but I did not. I dropped her off. You didn't kiss her, dude. Come on. It's like, can she be any more obvious? But it's like, this is what happens. When a girl likes you, this is what she does. And obviously you're not used to it because you're just applying this stuff. And that's why I say this shit works. Just try it. You'll see that it works. He says, I dropped her off at the train station, kissed her on the cheek. Come on, man. On the cheek? That's friendship vibe. That's like, I don't have any confidence, or I just like you as a friend. When you kiss a woman on the cheek like that, if all those signs are there, she either assumes you're gay, you don't like her, or you have no confidence. And none of those three things create attraction in her towards you. And I said goodbye. She texted me when she got home to let me know she made it safe, and I texted her, when are you free to come over to my spot and chill? That's a bad way to go, dude. Because now you're like, okay, well, why don't you come over to my place and have sex now? That's basically what you're saying. Sex should evolve naturally. You don't say, hey, why don't you come over to my house so we can fuck? That's basically what you're saying at this point. If you just started making out with her, she would have probably come home with you. But that's kind of weird and creepy. It's like you're giving off the wrong vibe. You're acting like a man at times, and then there are times you're totally vague, unsure of yourself, you're hesitating, and then you come back and it comes off as weird and creepy. He says, she replied 15 minutes later, I'm not sure of my availability yet. I should know soon. I just have to figure out a few appointments coming up. I'll let you know as soon as I find out. Good night. Sleep well. He says, I haven't heard from her since that text on September 29th. Because you just basically said, hey, when are you going to come over to my house and fuck me? That's a bad pickup artist, dude. That's not the proper way to go about it. Proper way is to let it evolve and escalate things slowly, not do that after the fact when all the sexual tension is deflated. What you should have done is say, hey, I had a great time too. I look forward to seeing you again. And I want to call her a couple, 2-3 days later and made the next date and then gone for the kiss in that next date. That's how you would have stayed it. But just inviting her over to your place like that, it's like out of sequence, man. You got to follow the flow, dude. He says, I know you said to be patient and wait and always wait for a response to a text. In addition, you said to be indifferent, mysterious, and to make them wonder. Yeah, dude, it's like she's giving you all the signs, though. It says, hey, touching's appropriate. I wish you'd fucking kiss me right now. Be a man about it. But you kept dithering. And it was because, not because you weren't, my stuff doesn't work. It's just you weren't applying it properly. It's like, dude, she couldn't be any more obvious than that. He says, but I want to know, should I just wait for her to get back to me? Or do I respond with any follow-up? I've been fighting the urge to send a text, which I know you said not to do. What should I do? Nothing and wait? Unfortunately, I think it probably at this point, because this is like almost 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago at least, it's like you still haven't heard from her. She's kind of lost interest. And so the only thing I do is, I'd say, what is today? Today's Wednesday, or today's Thursday. So maybe Monday, if you still haven't heard from her by Monday of next week, call her up, see what she's doing, see when she's free to get together and meet up for some drinks, and then start the whole process over again. But if she doesn't call you back, then you know you fucked up. Because, like I said, it's just a bad way to go about things. Things need to flow smoothly. So let's get into the next guy's email. He says, hey, Coach, I contacted you a couple times before, and with those, you kindly did a video newsletter entitled, She Cheated on Me and Then Friend-Zoned Me. He said, and thank you for that. You're welcome. Obviously, it was a good email. That's why I used it in a video. He says, anyway, long story short, following your advice, I successfully re-attracted my ex. However, it's been a rocky road because I felt insecure about some of her male friends. The root cause being she cheated on me, and I found it hard to trust her. No shit, Sherlock. It's a woman like that is great as a sex playmate. Hanging out, having fun, and hooking up, but not relationship material. And since you know that, you shouldn't give a shit about who else she's hooking up with, because it's really none of your business. You don't want a woman like this back as your girlfriend. This is not the kind of woman you can marry and have a healthy relationship with, because if she cheats on you once, she'll do it again. But hanging out with her and hooking up and having fun should be great until you meet a really good woman that you can have a relationship with. You got to understand that's what the nature of the creature you're dealing with here. He says also the guy, and so when you're worried about other dudes, all that your intent is communicating that you're not sure of yourself. You think that there's another guy out there that's better for her. James Bond don't think like that. He's like, I'm the fucking best in the world. Of course I'm awesome. Of course you want me. Of course you want to hook up with me. I mean, think about it. He says also the guy she cheated on me with still wants to have as a friend in life. In other words, she probably still wants to keep fucking him too. He says, I hate this and she knows that, but insists she still wants his friendship. She's not your girlfriend anymore, dude. You're focused on a relationship and getting her all to yourself so you can feel secure in your own skin. You're going to get the exact opposite when you act that way. Because you're basically, at the end of the day, you're unsure of yourself and you're unsure of your desirability and your sex appeal. You should look at it, think from the end. It's just simply a matter of time before she wants me all to herself. Until then, play ball. He says she also created drama every so often, which ended in arguments. Well, that tells me you don't understand women if you're arguing with her. He says, very embarrassing as she caused some scenes in public places. Horrible. Well, you let it happen. You're supposed to be the leader, and you argued with her. And when you argue with a woman, of course it's going to spiral out of control. He says, so in short, we agreed we should break up as our values were not aligned. It hurt like hell as I love this girl and she tells me that she loves me too. A week later, she drunk phoned me at 1:30 a.m. in the night out with her friends from work. And she's about a 3-hour drive away from me. Well, wow, that's a long ways away. He says, then preached how much she wanted to sleep with me again and how much she loved me. She wanted me to go to her hotel room, but I said it was a long drive and that time of the night, I had to work the next day. Yeah, if you'd have driven all the way there, she'd have been fucking snoozing by the time you got there, passed out drunk. So it's good that she didn't go. He says, my counteroffer was for her to come see me the following day, to which she agreed. She came over, we cooked, we had sex. It was great. Ding, ding, we have a winner. That's what you're supposed to do, dude. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. And that's it. Not talk about a relationship, not think about how you can get rid of the other guys in her life. Hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. Because when she's with you, that's what she feels. She feels good feelings. She feels good to be around you. He says she told me that she loved me again, but then left in the morning around 11 a.m. I didn't suggest she keep in touch. And he says, oops, well, that's okay. Obviously, it sounds like she'll reach out to you again. He says, but I did text her about 5 p.m. later that day. Why would you chase after a woman who cheated on you? This is a sex playmate. This is a chick that ditched you, that dumped you. Think about that. He says, it was great to see you, and I enjoyed our evening together. Be safe, baby. He says, probably weak, but she... Again, this kind of behavior just reaffirms to her, hey, it's okay to cheat on me and jerk me around and hook up with other guys. That's why when a woman's dumped you and you are attracting her back, you let her do all of the initiating and getting in touch with you. Because if a woman's chasing you and pursuing you, and you're hanging out, having fun, and hooking up, she's not going to dump you. But when you start acting like this, you start acting like trying to act like her boyfriend again. You're not being clear. He says, so I thought I'd text. Okay, he says probably weak, but she always used to say I never contacted her enough in the past, and she thought that I was never that into her. At the end of the day, you obviously acted weak. That's why she ditched you. It's not because you didn't text her. That's just the bullshit excuse. That's the sunshine she's blowing up your ass about why she broke up with you. At the end of the day, she cheated on you with another guy. Women don't cheat on guys that they're in love with and that they're chasing and that they're pursuing. That's just a fact of life. They dump guys who are unclear in their intent, guys who act weak and who act needy and insecure about their guy friends, which obviously you've had a problem with. He says, so I thought I'd text her again at 5 p.m. Now you're over pursuing. He says she didn't reply, but the following day she sent a text asking when I was going on holiday. She knew I had one planned, and I replied 3 hours later saying tomorrow morning. He says this is true, by the way. And she replied about 10 minutes later saying, be safe, sweetie, have a great week. I went on holiday and now I'm back. It's been 10 days since we communicated, i.e. her text wishing me to have a great holiday. I did see her riding her bike home from work yesterday, though, and he says that's been 9 days since the last time she texted me. And she also rode by and woof whistled me. I don't really know what a woof whistle is, but all right. He says, but I didn't stop her. She didn't stop her bike. Well, obviously she really didn't give a shit. And at the end of the day, this is a girl that cheated on you. This is not a woman you want to pursue. This is a woman that if she gets in touch with you, hey, let's hang out. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. He says, I still haven't initiated any contact and I'm fighting myself not to. I wouldn't. Why? You don't want to cheat her back. You can hook up with her and have great sex and treat her as a sex playmate, have an open relationship with her. But that's it. It can't go any farther than that. So don't try to treat her like your girlfriend. He says, I fancy having her as a sex playmate, which I think she would be happy with too. Dude, she was your sex playmate. So stop trying to pursue her and act like a boyfriend. And she said maybe to friends with benefits when I brought it up post-breakup. Although if I'm honest, I think I'd be insanely jealous of any other fella in her life. That's why she's blowing you off. Because you act needy and insecure about yourself. Should I still wait for her to contact me? Yes, absolutely. What I want to avoid is appearing like I gave in and I'm chasing her. Then don't call her, dude. Don't chase her. Don't pursue her. He says, I don't want her to have the power. Then stop giving it to her. Stop pursuing her. Stop putting her on a pedestal and running after her like a little girl. He says, it would be much better if she contacted me. However, she was the last to text and made the drunk phone call. Is it my turn to contact her? Again, you don't chase after women that cheat on you. But if they get in touch with you, hey babe, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see you. Let's get together. When are you free? That's what you do. He says, it's hard seeing her at work, walking the corridor, looking all hot and sexy. I don't think she knows that I've seen her at work, and admittedly, my ego is bruised that I haven't heard from her yet, but I'm still maintaining no contact. Do you think I'm taking the right approach? Yes, stop coming up with reasons to chase her. She cheated on you, dude. He says, I'd love to smash her doors in again. Sorry, make love to her. That's all right. When she reaches out to you next, make a date, hang out, have fun, and hook up. Keep it simple. Don't complicate things. Let's get into the third email I got. This guy says, hey, coach, I'm trying to get this girl back. She wants to be friends now after I said, so good so far. after we worked out. So in other words, you want this girl back, but you just said, hey, sure, let's be friends, because maybe someday you'll want to have sex with me again. Come on, man. He says, I now know too much too soon. Very stupid of me after reading your book. Well, it's good that you read it at least. He says, I've been doing most of the chasing, which I now know is stupid as well. That's why you're in friend zone, because you're acting like the typical needy nice guy that never gets anywhere. He says, I've been on 2 dates and we went out to eat, and the second to a movie and drinks, and only got hugs afterwards. Your intent is friendship, and you agreed to go along with friendship. So the whole vibe you're putting out is, hey, I want to be your gay male girlfriend and your therapist and your emotional tampon. And she's happy to keep you there while she's fucking somebody else, obviously. He says, I sent her an ego trip text expression that I don't want to be friends, and if she's not attracted to me, it's all good. Oh, that sounds real confident. Well, if you're not attracted to me, well, I understand. You should have the idea, of course you're attracted to me, of course I'm a stud. You should always presuppose that all women want you. Now, obviously not going to be the case, but act as if, of course she wants me, and if you find out that she doesn't, hey, it's your loss and you really feel that way. Get in touch with me if you change your mind. So he says, I got no response. So me being stupid, I sent her another text 4 days later saying that if I confused you with that text after the gym, my mistake, it wasn't my intent. Come on, man. He says, I'm not interested in friendship. I'm interested in having fun with you. If you change your mind, get at me sometime. Was that the right thing to say? Hell no. It's like, you ever see that? Gary Coleman, what you talking about, Willis? It's like, come on, man. He says, I really fucked up wondering if I even got a chance in hell of getting her back. Probably not. He says, on the dates, she was interested. She laughed and read her body language, all positives. I just don't know why I didn't close the deal, and I acted like a big pussy around her, which I really don't do around women. Yeah, you obviously do that among women you really like, and that's why they treat you like a big pussy, and you get no pussy. He says, I know I'm supposed to move on, and it sucks because I'm probably going to see her out with friends, and I'm pretty sure they all know. He says, I really had my shot. I think I blew it. I should have just went off my first instincts. No response means no chance, right? Walk and never look back, dude. That's all you can do. Because if you keep pursuing her and texting her, you just look like a fucking sucker. So have some self-respect and walk away and say, you know what? I'm not going to do that bullshit again. So let's get into the fourth and final email. This guy says, hey, Corey. I enjoyed your response to my last email so much that I decided to email you again about a new relationship problem of mine. For the last 2 months, I've been talking to a girl I met on eHarmony. She gave me her phone number, and we usually communicate by text message about every other day. The phone is for setting dates, my man. When you do this, you're not being clear in your intent. It's like you want to meet her and date her, but then you act like a gay male girlfriend or her therapist or her emotional tampon. And this is how you get friend-zoned. He says, which is sort of a good thing, since the brief times we've spoken on the phone, I've noticed that she tends to get very nervous. Huh? He says, on our first 2 dates, the tone has been some chatter with awkward silences. Yeah, because you're talking too much on the phone. And it's like, so you finally get together on a date, and it's like, she knows everything that's going on in your life. You're texting every day. Stop that shit, man. He says, which kind of threw me off and caused me to get nervous. Later on, as the date progressed and we both got comfortable, the conversation would flow much more smoothly. I kind of made a little blunder towards the end of the second date when she nervously hugged me, but I think she wanted me to kiss her, but I didn't. You're not acting like a man, you're acting like a friend. Friends give hugs. Lovers give kisses. Kisses lead to heavy petting. Heavy petting leads to you deep inside her and her screaming your name. In a pleasurable way, obviously. He says, I usually don't go for the kiss until date number 3. Why? It's like, you wait till the third date and you spend all this time and money and effort and emotional energy, and then she doesn't kiss you back, guess what? She's not interested. Now you feel like a jerk for wasting all your time and your money. He says, I was a little nervous about kissing outside the bar in front of a bunch of people smoking. It's like a man goes for it and doesn't fucking care. If she kisses you on the cheek, you're like, hey, well, have a great night. I'll see you later. It's like, and then on your way back to your car, you delete that number and you never call her again. He says she did initiate that she had a really good time and couldn't wait to do it again. For the next week, we continued to text each other, and she's still been joking around and flirting with me. Again, you're still talking way too much on the phone and not getting anywhere. We've talked about going out again, but both of our weekends have been kind of hectic. I'm running in a Tough Mudder race this weekend. Last week, she asked me if I wanted to go to Oktoberfest with her friends, but I already had other plans. Yeah, don't be doing group dates. And it's like, all you're going to end up doing is getting cock-blocked, blue balls, and which you're already giving yourself anyways, but you're just going to make it worse by hanging out with her and her friends. Because it's like you're acting like a friend, and now you're going to go out and hang out as a friend. He says, last Sunday when I texted her, she didn't respond. I sent her another brief text message the next day, but again she didn't respond. Yesterday she finally replied and apologized for her absence, but was vague about the details and hasn't replied to my response yet. Yeah, it's like she's kind of lost interest at this point. Right now I'm kind of at a loss. Well, it's pretty clear to me. You weren't clear in your intent. You didn't act like a man. And therefore, she's She's kind of towards you. He says, I don't understand how she could go from joking and flirting with me one day to nothing the next. It's pretty clear to me, dude. It's clear as a fucking bell. Ding, ding. He says, I'm starting to get the feeling that this is the beginning of a slow fade. Well, it sounds like a quick fade to me if she's not responding to your text. He says, I'm finding myself wanting to text her again, but from watching your videos, I know that over pursuing this girl would only make me look bad. Well, you've done a pretty good job of making yourself look bad already. Did not kissing her on the second date do me in? Well, that was part of it. Part of it was texting and talking all the time. Because when you finally got together, you really didn't have much to talk about because you're talking to her every day. Or was it a mistake to not go to that Oktoberfest with her? What should be the next step? I'd say wait a couple of weeks. If you still haven't heard from her, text her again and say, hey, I want to see you. When are you free to meet up? Question mark, and send that. If she never responds, then you're fucked. And the best thing you can do is look for some new women to date and cut all this bullshit out. Be clear in your intent, my man, the next time. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a phone session with me. You can do that by going to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and follow the instructions. If you don't have my Kindle ebook yet, on my website underneath the email sign-up box, there's a box that'll take you right to Amazon. You can purchase a paperback edition if you want the paperback edition, which the second edition is now out in paperback as well. If you'd like to get the Kindle edition, you can just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read on, then complete the purchase. And if you've got an iPhone device, it'll even read it to you in audio version with a nice, sexy female voice. Isn't that cool? So I will talk to you soon.